Hi guys, welcome back. In today's video, we're going to continue our World of Kaiser Domination series. As we know in the last video, World War II continued. And well, now let's see what happens. And well, the first thing that happens is Russia launches a counteroffensive. But do they get what they want? Not really. With them pushing them back across the front, with the goal of trying to get to St. Petersburg, they fail that. But they start pushing north the forces of Ukraine. And they cross from over here. And well, this part of the front falls back. But they fail to cross any further. As their offensive starts slowing down at this line. And well, let's go look at the next part. Well, a few nations decide to join. That includes Ireland, Finland, and the Netherlands all decide to join. And well, yeah, it got worse. More nations are joined. But in the West, a counteroffensive is made, yes. An offensive in the West is made as a breakthrough happens in the lands occupied by France, with a slight pushback into Belgium, nothing major, but still a counteroffensive. And with Ireland forces joining into the front, well, the English forces are pushed back a bit more, which is pretty massive considering they're pushed back a bit more. They're still managing to hold on. And well, an offensive in the east is launched. And what do they do first? Yes, they take back what they had occupied pretty fast, with Russia shocked at how fast it went. Well, I mean, they are gone to a revanchist ideology. And well, Finland manages to cut this area off and advance into here. And they continue the front, although the front is still not to Moscow. And they fail to advance along that front. But over here, they advance a bit, and up here. But not too much. And well, at this point, Turkey launches an offensive. And is this their final offensive? Well, no. Yes, not their final one. But they are the nation currently doing the best. With them advancing into Greece, yeah, they almost cut off the two nations here. But they managed to pull off a naval landing into the southern part of Greece. Although, they stall out about there, same within this front. And against Bulgaria, they started advancing along core parts of Bulgaria. Bulgaria is too big for its own good, though. And while at this point, a counterattack happens in the east, and it knocks Turkey off its feet. Like, literally fully off their feet. But no big deal to them. As they are completely kicked out of the Greek mainland and they start getting kicked back out of their islands. Which is pretty much a major event. As they get kicked out of most of the islands, and then all of them. Well, an offensive starts raining down along here, with mostly Bulgarian forces and Greek forces in this front. As they continue advancing, and they manage to take back Istanbul, and then their offensive starts slowing down. And well, an attack on French Africa occurs. Is it a surprise? Well, no. And well, they advance. And it's a big success, this offensive by Italy and Germany, with them taking over the more important areas to the north. And then they advance a bit along here to create an area to defend their borders. Well, French Africa is in a bit of trouble, as more forces are being moved to this front. Well, the invasion of France begins. Well, not right away, technically, with them being kicked out of these lands. And well, after they take it back, yes, they took back their lands they deserve. And an invasion of France begins, and Britain is too busy to help a lot. And well, through the front, they advance south. They fail to get to Paris at this point, but they start advancing along this front. And in the southern front, they start advancing a bit. Eventually, they connect these two fronts, and their offensive in the south starts slowing down, but with them moving into the south of Paris and north, they fail to capture the city. For now, it stays encircled, with France managing to hold on in that siege, even while more of its country is starting to lose lands. Well, in Turkey, the invasion gets much worse, with them being kicked fully out of their lands as the invasion of Turkey is set to begin, with them advancing, with the Egyptian forces advancing through the Levant Republic. And while they quickly take it over, these lands fall, and then this area falls. Then the coast gets taken over. Yeah, that's a lot of lands they taken back. Now Turkey is shocked. Their nation's starting to fall. Well, they start getting pushed back over here from the south. Now, I'm coming in from the south and encircling Ankara and taking it. And at this point, Turkey has collapsed, but they still haven't left the war. And well, a lot has happened in today's part of the video, and the front is like growing. Paris is on the verge of collapse. Britain is falling slowly. Turkey has collapsed. And well, they've become basically an occupation zone. And well, at this point, the tides have turned. Their enemies are just still occupying lands, with Turkey becoming nothing but an occupation to them. Well, the tides have definitely turned, and the defenders are on their way to victory, with the Kaiser League on their way to victory. And there's nothing going to stop them at this point. So, well, that's all for today's video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Wild Mapper out, and please look at some other videos. Bye, guys!